All right, let's talk about modern-day detectives. Forget the magnifying glass and the trench coat, because today's biggest clues are hidden behind a keyboard. We're diving deep into the incredible and kinda mind-blowing story of digital forensics.
I mean, just think about it for a sec. So much of our lives, our conversations, our photos, our secrets, it's all stored on our devices. So when a crime happens, the trail isn't just physical anymore, right? It's digital. We're not talking about fingerprints on a doorknob. We're talking about pure data. So how on earth do you solve a crime like that?
Well, that leads us right into our first big question. Before we can solve the crime, we have to understand the crime scene. And in this case, the crime scene is, well, the entire digital world.
So, what is digital forensics, really? At its heart, it's the process of digging through computers, phones, networks, you name it, to find evidence. But here's the kicker. It's not just about finding stuff. It's about collecting it in a way that is absolutely airtight, so it can hold up under the intense scrutiny of a court of law. It's all about making that digital evidence legally count.
And, this whole field didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It basically had to sprint to keep up with technology. Back in the 80s, it was all about digging into early computer data. Then boom, the 2000s hit with the internet explosion, and everything changed. Then came the 2010s, and suddenly everyone has a supercomputer in their pocket. It's this constant high-stakes race between the tech and the detectives trying to keep up.
All right, so we've got a handle on what the job is, but what are these digital detectives actually looking for? Let's follow those digital footprints and find out.
Honestly, digital evidence is, well, it's everywhere. That email you shot off this morning? Evidence. That selfie you took? Evidence. Even the hidden data inside that selfie, the metadata that shows exactly when and where you took it, that's a huge piece of the puzzle. For an investigator, every little bit of data is a potential clue that helps tell the whole story. But here's what's wild. These digital clues are incredibly fragile. A footprint in the mud might last for days, but digital evidence? Poof, it can be gone in a second. One wrong click, and you could alter it forever. It can be hidden behind bulletproof encryption, or it can just vanish, overwritten by new data. That's why this whole process has to be so incredibly careful.
It's kind of like a police department, right? You don't have one detective who does everything. You've got specialists. Same thing here. You've got your computer forensics squad for laptops and hard drives. Mobile forensics handles phones and tablets. Network pros are the ones chasing down hackers during things like denial of service attacks. And now you've even got cloud forensics for when the crime scene is somewhere up in the cloud. Each team has its own turf.
Okay, so we've got the detectives, we've got the evidence, but how do you go from a gigantic mountain of data to a solid case? Well, it all comes down to a super strict step-by-step process. Yeah, every single investigation follows these 5 steps, no exceptions. First, figure out where the evidence might be. Then, and this is so important, they preserve it. They make an exact, perfect copy of everything before they even start looking at it. That way, the original stays completely untouched. Only after that's done can they start analyzing, documenting every single move they make, and finally, presenting what they found.
And when they're in that analysis phase, they're not just, scrolling through your photos. They're using some seriously powerful tools. Things like EnCase can pull up data you thought was deleted forever. FTK can map out connections between files and people. Seriously, think of this stuff as their high-tech toolkit. It's like the digital version of a fingerprint kit or a DNA lab.
Okay, but this brings up a huge looming question, doesn't it? If digital data is so easy to change, one click can alter a file, how can a court ever be sure that the evidence they're seeing is the real deal? How do you prove it hasn't been tampered with? Well, the answer is a concept that's basically the bedrock of all forensics, not just digital. The entire system hinges on one thing, guaranteeing that the evidence is trustworthy. And that guarantee comes from something called the chain of custody. This is, without a doubt, the most critical part of the whole process. It's a ridiculously detailed log that tracks the evidence every step of the way. Who had it? When did they have it? Why did they have it? Every single touch point is documented, because if that chain has even one weak link, one missing signature, one gap in time, a judge can throw the entire case out. It's the tamper-proof seal that makes it all work. So, that's how a case is built from the ground up. But let's talk about the real world. What's the impact? What are the biggest advantages and the biggest challenges that these investigators face every day?
So, on the one hand, the benefits are massive.
This field helps us preserve evidence that would otherwise disappear. It's essential for cracking complex cybercrimes, and it helps companies protect their data. But the flip side? The challenges are just immense. We're talking about a literal tsunami of data to sift through. Criminals are using tougher and tougher encryption, and investigators have to deal with a tangled web of privacy laws that can be completely different from one country to the next.
So what's next in this constant cat-and-mouse game? Well, the future of digital forensics is already here, and it's being shaped by some incredible new tech.
The detectives of tomorrow are going to have some new partners. We're talking about AI that can automatically comb through those petabytes of data to find the one crucial clue. We're talking about blockchain forensics, which is already tracing dirty crypto money. But at the end of the day, the fundamental challenge never changes. Criminals get new tools, so the detectives have to get even better ones faster.
And all of this leaves us with a really tough, really important question. As these tools get smarter and more powerful, where do we, as a society, draw the line between security and privacy? Finding that balance between catching the bad guys and protecting our own digital lives, well, that's a conversation that's only just beginning.